Yeah, that was another experience we had.
Yeah.
You know.
And I remember your wife saying, "Hey, don't wear that shirt. It's brand new."
I still have it.
Yeah.
But it's, I look at it each time as I was throwing that grease on that tree and it came back on me.
Yeah.
I mean, it had, you know,
Yeah.
again, it's a learning experience. I've learned a whole bunch. And why I haven't learned to get out of it, I have no idea whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, hey, I remember a couple of times slinging bait. So I'll go for the most recent year, being this last year. Talk about some challenging times, but I mean, we've seen stuff out in the wild that we certainly won't see down here.
Oh,
Last year, what did we see? I mean,
wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me was an experience. We're going down the road, and there's obviously a roadkill laying next to the road, and a couple ravens, and we made our trek down and did our baits on the way back. Came back, and I believe you said, "What's those two things in the middle of the road?" And as we neared, it was two wolves, and it became real obvious that they're not afraid of you. I mean,
Yeah.
we nudged the truck ahead a little bit, and they ran off to the side, and they didn't go 10 feet, and they just glared at us, both
Yeah.
in the road, both on the side of the road. And it's like, they're beautiful animals. I will give them that, but there has to be something. I mean,
Yeah.
there
They're
has to be bold, and they show no fear.
Yeah.
I know that we experienced
maybe they looked at us and said, "Why would you worry
couple
about those
fat
two?"
guys sitting there, get out of the truck and you're done. But the thing that comes up to me is the bait site that they seen the most bears at. We were baiting and we'd see deer. There was one there, the piebald, that we'd see
Yeah.
almost every time. Shortly, we never seen it anymore, and I guess we weren't smart enough to figure out that maybe there's a reason. It wasn't poached. I'm hoping that it wasn't the victim of the wolves, but short distance, and wolves and
Yeah.
enjoy killing.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know about wolves, and I learned a lot just on that one experience.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, I look back on some of our funny hunter stories, and I know there's a couple of them you will not respond to. There's no doubt about
There's
it.
probably a few.
Yeah.
And it usually involves the successful hunters.
Oh yeah.
That
Yeah. It does. Yeah.
somehow the negatives come out of, first of all, the success of a hunter, and the success of you as a guide getting the opportunity to kill a bear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But there's some.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which one are you going to bring up, Gary?
Well, hey, I have a whole list of them, and I don't know if the video camera's got enough battery life on it to talk about
That's
all of them.
fine.
But there's a couple of them, and I look back on this one that was really funnier than hang. Is usually we communicate up there with cell phones, and so the hunter, once all their hunters go out and hunt, and we get our chores done. Thus, we baited the spots that they're not hunting, and we bait their spots. We come back to camp, and of course that's a time to sit down and catch our breath for a minute, maybe grab a lunch or something.
Or something.
Yeah, oh yeah. So we sit there, and then the next thing is you start looking at at our cell phone, because somebody's gonna probably not call, but at least text and
Yes.
say deer down, bear shot, whatever it might be. So I look back on this one guy. His name is Steve Sobey.
Okay, I remember the incident.
Still got the welts all over. Yeah.
No, I remember it.
Yeah. No, it was quite a little trek, and we weren't short on help because there were some hunters that didn't shoot a bear that night. Of course, everybody likes to pitch in,
That's a great thing.
Yeah, I can't blame. We must have decided when Steve contacted us and said he shot a bear. We waited for the hunters to get back, so everybody's back in camp safe, and then we kind of caravanned or hopped in a couple of vehicles and drove over to where he was hunting and parked. And of course, we know we got about a 1.5 mile walk.
And one guy protected the parked vehicles.
Yeah. Gotta make sure that somebody stays
Yeah.
in the vehicle. Yeah, oh, absolutely. But
His
I remember,
vigilance wasn't too good.
I remember getting back to the hunt spot, and we know it's probably 1.5 miles back, and there's a couple of tough spots to go through, and but back on the other side of a beaver pond, kind of a neat spot to hunt, but
Difficult.
yeah. So Steve led the way up, finds that it was just as he suspected. He put a heck of a shot on a bear, and it was laying, 10 yards from the bait, maybe. if
Not
that.
far enough as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
As it later turned out.
yeah. So we all had flashlights in the form of a headlamp, pretty much, and there must have been 5, 6 of us. And all of a sudden, well, why don't you tell what happened?
Well, all of a sudden I felt a lot of stinging in something. Well, it's obviously stinging. And as it later turned out, I was the only one that didn't turn the headlamp out, and the bald-faced hornets were coming out of the bait site, which has a lot of sweetness in it, which would attract them. And I got stung terrible.
Yeah.
I was dancing around screaming. I mean, finally, I think Steve said, "Hey, shut your headlamp off," and it was probably one of the best advices I've had. It was like I got stung a few times. Long and short of it, we got out of there, and everything turned out successful retrieval, but a story to come out of it.
Oh yeah.
And an experience that you're going to have to realize after that. We've seen it since then, where it's attracted wasps and,
Yeah.
and stuff, and I thought, man, I learned a little lesson there. I'm hoping that someday somebody else is the new guy and he gets his dues.
Yeah. He gets full exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hey, there's a couple other stories. I remember a couple of different ones, but of course, the one that I remember is it was in the same hunting spot, coincidentally.
Okay.
And then we had these couple of guys that were in bear camp in that third hunt. So a lot of times that third hunt up there, it's not like we get, half a dozen hunters. Sometimes you get a couple or more.
We've had a couple good
Yeah.
third hunts.
And those guys were not real familiar with hunting Michigan territory. So they wanted us to take them back and then come back and pick them up.
Yes.
And then so we flipped a coin or maybe you just said, hey, I want to go back and take that guy back to the beaver pond. And Gary, you take the
I
guy.
can't imagine that happening, but go ahead.
Well, why don't you tell us what happened? I mean, it was, it seemed like every day was a new adventure in dealing with those guys.
I think that the first thing was that no matter if you have hunters in the camp, you're going to have to go to your bait sites and rebait your sites every time. So that obviously between 10 and 12 miles. Taking a hunter back and bringing them and walking back, baiting the site for them and walking back and then having to go get them at dark, that was an experience. I think I totaled up about 17 miles that day. I couldn't get a hold of you. I mean, you say that you're I don't know. Well, that's a story we'll never forget. But that was an experience there.
Well, as I recall, though, it involved pepper spray.
Well,
and a hot day.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I think first of all, your bait sites are pretty much established, and then if they're active, your hunters don't read in a book and say you got to have bacon burn, you got to have licorice, you got to have all this. Stay out of the baits, and I think you tell them, and that.
What happened that time then?
Well, I took him back, and he decided he wanted this recipe that was going to really bring the bears, and you can't change a person's mind if they think that's what's going to bring success to them, even though there was an active bait site. He took off, and I said, I'm not going back there. I don't know where the bait is, which was kind of a little bit of a deceit in there. Okay. He ended up he said, well, I know where it's at, and I'll go do it. You wait here. And I said, that's fine. I didn't understand why he had the bear spray.
Pepper spray?
Yeah, I think that's, he had a good-sized jug of it.
Yeah.
I thought, good luck to him. I think we're here. He had
Was he bow hunting?
No, he had a rifle. That was
okay.
the other thing. I thought, we're here. You got a gun. You're trying to kill bears. Why would you want to spray one?
Yeah.
As it turns out, he...
Did he spray one?
No. He did... I don't understand. First of all, I didn't understand the bear spray. Second of all, because he had a rifle.
Yeah.
I really didn't understand pulling the pin on it. It's, similar to like a fire extinguisher where it has a safety latch to it.
Yeah. Or in this case, a hand grenade.
Yeah, so he took off and he went and he did whatever he did,
Yeah.
against my and your advice to leave it alone because it's active. And came back and walked him over to his, I believe he was in one of those pop-up lines.
Yeah.
And wished him success and left. I think you went back there to retrieve this gentleman and found him sitting outside the...
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And as it turned out, he obviously forgot to put the pin
Back in the pepper
back
spray.
in the pepper spray and must have made a move.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine being in that pop-up line when that bear spray went off.
No.
I just can't imagine.
No, and you're in a pop-up blind. There's no wind to carry that stuff out of you.
I wasn't there, but I'm surprised you would take the time to unzip the door. I'd have thrown that thing just as far as I could. But I never understood that,
No.
But,
No.
I mean, there's been some humorous things, and it turned out okay for
Yeah.
the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he wasn't successful, but I think we know that when you start messing with the baits and
Yeah.
changing, which has probably been the thing that I've noticed over the years, if you're getting a bait site that's active with whatever you're feeding, don't change it.
Right.
Because that throws the bearers off
Yeah.
for a couple days.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What's the deal with Bob Rod needing a tree, though?
We first of all was retrieving Nick's bear.
Oh, okay.
And then we're up there, and we did go the
mean
wrong
up the
way.
hill?
Going up the hill, and then,
Well, you took a right instead of wanting.
well, yeah, and Nick reminded us to go left, and as we're going down that little
Yeah.
grade, your brother's in the back like a bull elk.
Yeah.
I tried to make the turn, tree hit me right in the chest. It was like
Time for a break. And then people came back and helped you out.
Yeah, not so much. I know because there's no naked tick dance.
Huh?
No tick dance.
No naked tick
No.
dance? All right. All right. Ready. All right.
Okay, we're back after I had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, absolutely.
Loosen myself up a little bit.
Well, you said, how am I doing? I said, just got to loosen up a little bit. So,
Well,
hey,
I'm really not that good on
loosening yourself
speaking
up.
people up. There's been a few of the hunters that said, "Hey, you don't hang around." And I said, "I'm more comfortable out in the woods with bait." Not that I'm not a people person, but I'm not.
Yeah.
It's simple. I don't. Come on.
Didn't we do some trapping or something once or no?
No, I don't think I got involved in that adventure, or a venture as my granddaughter calls
says.
it. I think you went on your own on that, and I had the common sense not to get involved in that. Sweet.
Yeah.
But-
well, hey, how about the time we went across the lake, that 1,000-acre lake, to run a bear bait over there, and we decided, well, let's make it a quick trip and put a 2-horse motor on the.
Well, and that's, I remember that clearly, because it was a new spot that we thought would be extremely successful, because the access via road, via anything,
Doesn't
nil.
exist.
So we went over there, scouted it, and found a spot that could be a very active bear bait. We drummed the bait down, built the logs up, and went back there, I think 3 or 4 days later, set up a game camera to only find a beagle. It's like, and again, if you're going to have
beagle?
a beagle, if you're going to have involved in guiding, you're going to have a whole lot of disappointment.
Yeah.
Again, 10 spots, you're going to probably go through 17 spots to get active ones.
Yeah.
And whether they're going to stay active, that's another crapshoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Boy, how How about the bear hunt with when Tom Lounsbury? Well, that was a neat. No bear.
No bear.
And that was the disappointing.
Opportunity.
Yeah, the
Opportunity.
disappointing side, probably more so with Tom than anything, because I know that to this day, he said it several times. It haunts him
Yeah.
because it wasn't just a run of the mill bear.
No, it was a good sized bear, and I think I've hunted that particular bait site, and I've also taken people back there, and I remember a gentleman that was successful on the second or third day. He confided in me that when it started to get dark the first day, he started moving out.
Yeah.
Because you're in big woods. A lot of people don't experience being in a mile and a quarter back from where your truck is on a 2-track and then
Yeah.
a little jaunt back in there. And you do an excellent job on marking the trail with bright eyes. And he admitted that he left early. And I had to admit to him that the first time I hunted that one, I left early.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And with Tom, I took him back to that particular spot. And
Tom Lounsbury.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I told him, I says, you know, Tom, stay until the last light. It is going to be important that you stay there, and the trail is marked with bright eyes.
Yeah.
I believe Tom did stay
Yeah.
until dark. He's a good hunter.
Yeah,
you
he
know.
is. Very good.
I think on the second or third day he had the opportunity.
Yeah, I remember the encounter with the wolves the first time.
Yeah, he's had a little problem with that. And, you know, that's the thing. We've progressively seen the wolves get a lot more numerous and a lot
Yeah.
more encounters.
Yeah, bolder. Yeah,
it's
they're not afraid of us.
No,
they sure
they're
don't
not.
seem like it, but
And, you know, it's kind of fun. I mean, it started out being that, oh, you hear a wolf, to, oh, you seen one on a trail camera, in your particular case, 6 minutes before you were into the bait site,
yeah.
to now we're actually seeing in the last 3-4 years packs of 3, 4, 5 that
Yeah.
are coming right into the bait sites while the hunters are actively hunting.
And they don't care that the hunter's there.
They do not care. I
No.
mean, there was a video
Yeah.
a couple years ago. I mean, I believe that hunter had the opportunity, but chose not to, and he had some wolves come in and
Yeah.
videotape him.
Chase the bear off.
And it was, you know, to him, it was a good thing to see
Yeah.
wolves. And again, a few years ago, it was something to hear or see a wolf. But
Yeah.
last years, they've been a nuisance, I think, more than that.
Yeah, I agree.
But back to Tom, he hunted that site for a couple days, and it did see a bear. And
Yeah.
I from every indication, it was a good sized bear. And
Yeah.
I will not laugh at somebody that misses a bear.
Right.
I've missed deer.
Yeah.
You know, came back in rather early because of the no texting, and he was pretty worked up coming back.
Yeah.
We went back there to look for possibly the bear.
Yeah.
But
That year was kind of a weird, or that particular hunt that year, with Tom and 2 other guys. Everybody had really an opportunity.
Yes.
And nobody got a bear, but the opportunities kind of come and went. But they were all different stories. You know, it wasn't
were.
like everyone was the same. Where I came in and I missed it, and you know, some were, you know, a guy thought one was too small. A guy thought, well, hey, you know, 18 yards with a shotgun with a scope, who could miss? Well, sometimes that
Happens.
Yeah. and then-
I guess, you know, my first reaction was, how in the hell could you miss?
Yeah.
And then you look at it, you think, you know, it's a different hunt. It's not the deer coming in. It's not the rabbit
Yeah.
flushing or the partridge. It's
Yeah.
like you got time, and you're 18 yards away, and I am sure that their hearts were beating, and
Yeah.
they, you know.
Yeah.
First of all, I haven't had the opportunity to shoot at a bear, but I think I'd have the same from talking with your hunters.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's altogether a different height
Yeah.
and
Well, you-
experience.
Goofy things. I mean, I always remember looking online, Facebook or something, YouTube or something, and seeing where a hunter had a bear come up to his tree stand and try to climb it, or he did climb it, and I thought, you know, where does this ever happen?
You know, and we're going to bring Don up. because he's the one that is experienced, the one that I'm
Yeah.
most familiar with.
Well, even that and Dave that hunted that Spring Lake.
Exactly. He's had the same thing, and they seem to sneak in on you, as I've heard that they will sneak in on you. But
Yeah.
I think the statement made by Don, you can watch videos, you can look at anything you want until you're sitting there looking between your feet and seeing two brown eyes staring up at you. So it's a whole different experience. And, you know, I agree. I mean, first of all, it's a different kind of hunting.
Yeah.
I don't know whether it's more dangerous or not. And in Don's case, yeah, he did have a pistol and he was hunting with a bow.
What?
He was hunting with
Pistol and a bow?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
I think you know, he had
Yeah.
a pistol for whatever reason and a bow, and I have no problem with that.
Probably the pistol was in case he missed one with a bow and it climbed up there.
Or maybe to take
Two
yourself
shells,
out. That's
right.
my theory. You know, don't get mauled, take yourself out. But
And don't go through the pain.
With Don's standing there and said, you know, it's a whole different experience. And when you catch the first version of it personally, you think this guy's serious.
Yeah.
He didn't end up harvesting a bear,
Right.
but he had an experience of a lifetime.
Oh, geez.
And
Yeah.
and not to diminish Don any at all, but the next day the term loaded for bear became pretty obvious because he went out there with a bow, a pistol, and a muzzle loader. So he was loaded for bear that time.
Took the gun cabinet with
He
him.
took the gun cabinet with him. Probably he learned a lesson. We all learned a lesson, and we had a good laugh over it. And I think Don had a lifetime experience. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, I enjoyed Don. I
Yeah,
mean, he was very helpful in retrieving a bear, and
Yeah.
he was a good guy to have in the camp. You know,
Yeah,
but-
he was another sucker that I put in a chair and got him on video.
yeah.
Over a fireside chat.
Well, I think we had some fireside chats that particular hunt, and
Oh yeah.
maybe it wasn't. I don't think we had a fire, but we
Well,
had other
lucky
things.
underwear, you know.
Well, there was that story too, you know.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. I mean, it was like you had a client up there and ended up being successful,
Yeah.
and Don was there at the same time.
Yeah.
And we got shooting the breeze, and she had been a pure Michigan hunt winner
Yeah.
and drawing, and was successful in a recent elk hunt.
Yeah.
And she mentioned after she harvested her bear that she had her lucky hunting clothes on. And I sort of mentioned, I said, you know, maybe you should give Don the lucky hunting clothes, including your lucky underwear. And unfortunately, or fortunately at that time, her husband came out of after taking a shower. And I think that's all he heard. He gave kind of a dirty look at us.
Yeah.
But,
Well, the timing was perfect
Yeah.
because he walked out of
for somebody, you
Yeah.
know. I think me and Don were sitting there with their jaws dropping down,
Yeah.
and hopefully somebody explained to him about that whole incident,
Oh,
but it was all in jest.
Yeah.
I mean,
I gave him your number and Don's number in case he ever needs his.
Well, as long as you didn't give me his address, you give him the address, I'm good with that. Of course, I'm never home anyway, so.
No, that's right. Yeah.
But that was there. In getting back to her, it's, you know, you want to get the hunters out there early.
Yeah.
And I think there was some resistance on getting out that early. And you took them to a spot, a hunting bait, and found that during the night the bear had flipped the blind over and sort of mauled the chairs up a little bit, which I guess is a good sign, as we've turned out later. But I don't think you were back 15 minutes.
No.
And you got a text.
Yeah.
And I was amazed.
Yeah.
Between that and, I can't think of his name.
Jeff?
No. Help me out there. Michigan brand foods was
Oh, Nick?
Nick.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
another story where
Yeah.
you got to get in there early enough. I know it's a long set from 1 until probably 7:30, but
Yeah.
I
you were
don't
there,
know.
huh?
I don't know whether you could say there's a particular time. We have a particular time where we call it witchy woo hour.
Yeah.
But that was only for us.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can really say that just at dusk or just before dark or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, you've run the gamut with your hunters there. I mean,
Yeah.
Nick, he had more time getting dressed than he did in the woods dang near. And
Yeah.
Michelle, she wasn't out there. I mean, I remember that you receiving the text and it was like,
Yeah.
that's impossible.
Yeah.
And her video. That's the thing. I've enjoyed both Nick and Michelle's videos.
Yeah.
Where they actually captured the hunt and the harvesting on their video equipment. I mean, it's something that I enjoy because I enjoy their success as you do. And they have something to look back at.
Oh yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
Even though the response usually after the harvest is somewhat edited, maybe we should say, or should be edited. But I think it actually shows the true emotion and the true excitement of harvesting a bear.
Yeah.
I mean, we all laugh at the particular words that are used to describe it, but I think, you really get a true feeling of what it is to harvest a Michigan bear.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of neat experiences and until we started doing this, I mean,
Why? I still sit there and think sometimes why. And like you say, there's been good hunts and not so good hunts, and a lot of times you sit there and think, what the heck am I doing here?
Yeah.
You probably said that about me a couple times, and I'm okay with that, because I can be fired,
That's the thing of it. We ain't gonna do it.
But it's been fun. A lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work. I don't think you realize how, well, you do, but I don't think sometimes I don't think they realize what goes into a successful bear hunt or a successful, even an unsuccessful. I mean, the work is still there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still going to bait that thing every day, and if for some reason the bears don't cooperate, you have the work that you've already put into it, and I think that's why you and I both enjoy the success of someone else.
Yeah, it's amazing. You look back and you get somebody to come into camp and somebody that's got their eyes wide open, and usually it's somebody that hasn't done much hunting in the UP or none, and you take them back, like you say, in that big timber area, and you walk them back at least 3/4 mile, but say a mile or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drop them off and you give them proverbial thumbs up, or you say, hey, good luck.
Good luck, yes.
We'll see you at camp at dark. And I always walk every time. That very first time I'm walking down the trail back. And we've both walked every one of these trails numerous times, so we can do it with our eyes closed almost. And you're thinking, oh, they're going to have the hair on the back of their neck. I don't care who they are.
Well, yeah, and you know what? I can relate that because the first time I actually stayed till dark, and it was like, even though I've made that trek many, many times, it was like, holy shit. It's getting dark, and I didn't convince myself that I had to stay right till dark because and I knew that the trail was marked well. I knew that.
Yeah.
But still, there's that something in your gut thinks, I got to make that last 100 or 200 yards up to where I'm familiar with, and I know the experience that each one of those hunters have had. I know it. I know it in my heart because I've had the same feelings, and I try to relate that to them. Stay right to the end.
Yeah.
It doesn't always work.
Right.
And sometimes they admit that they come out early.
Yeah.
But I think you say I got to stay right to the last light, and nothing happens, and then you think, man, I should have left early, and I'd pick up. But I think it's we haven't lost a hunter yet.
No, not yet.
No, and I hope that never happens. And if they listen, they're not going to get lost. I mean, that's in all seriousness. Of course, you've had a lot of hunters that don't listen, and that's on them.
Yeah. Well, I reflect back on a time where there was two guys hunting, and they were both related. This was been probably a few years ago, and we had some pretty good bear baits going. It was obvious they were active. The one guy shot a bear, and he would kind of lay on the couch till the last minute. I'd have to remind him, get out there. Of course, first time out he shoots a bear. But he's got this Caldwell shooting rest that he took with him out, which was a good thing. But you know, it's almost like, hey, this is, you know, first time out, Caldwell shooting rest. So
Ground ball.
yeah, so I remember his relative says, "Can I borrow?" Well, I don't know if he even asked. He went and borrowed the Caldwell shooting rest, and he took it back to gas can. It's quite a walk back, and that was getting hit hard. And he came back to camp and screwed up on a bear. And of course, the funny side of thing, I couldn't help but I laughed my butt off to him, and he got mad at me. I couldn't help it, you know. He took the gun off the Caldwell shooting rest because he was thinking how he could tear that